Good morning, everybody. Cheers. No palamaso for you. The update for deck tech I made on Octavia, Thesis or Octavia, Living Thesis. I found out some things about myself. I found out some things about Magic. I found out some things about this deck. It really surprised me. First thing, I don't know how to read cards. I am what they call an idiot who refuses to read cards. There's a couple cards in the deck I just flat out didn't read right. And all my astute followers clearly pointed that out to me in the comment box. So cheers to you. That's why you're there. Thank you. Body of knowledge does not do what I thought it did. Sunday on the Infinite does not do what I thought it did. That's on me. So I like this because it's a flat rate. It's not like Galto where it's a discount. Do you have 8 instants or sorceries in your graveyard? No? Sod off. Come back when you got 8. You have 7? 7's not 8, so get out of here, come back when you got 8. But when you do have 8, this thing flies. It's hilarious. I think I've won 2 games, 2 out of the 4 games I played with it. It's just hilarious. It's just a silly deck. Once you get Octavia out, it's ridiculous. You know, I think I'd hit somebody for 24, and they're like, oh, just 24. Like, well, yeah, I didn't have any more cards in hand. But I took out lands, I took out every single mana rock, because 9 times out of 10, if you're just sitting there with mana rocks, they're not going to do anything. They're just dead cards on board. You're not going to do anything with them. So this is the updated version of Octavia, Thesis Viva, or Octavia, Living Thesis. Thank you.
Alright guys, so here's the updated list for Octavia, Thesis Viva, or Octavia Living Thesis. She's still a 8 colorless, 2 blue legendary creature elemental octopus. And she reads, this spell costs 8 less to cast if there are 8 or more instants or sorceries in your graveyard. Ward 8. And Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, target creature has the power and toughness of 8/8 until end of turn. Base power toughness. So yeah, here we go. A lean and mean 28 basic islands. I took out some basics. You really need about 6 lands in play for this deck to really kick. Myriad Landscape, Lonely Sandbar, Unblockable, Rogue's Passage, Halimar Depths, and Isolated Watchtower. So that's it. We got, that's right, 33 lands in this deck, 28 basics, and 5 non-basics. That's how we do. So here comes some of the utility creatures. I wasn't going blockable, but I like the value that these utility creatures give you. They're creatures that do things besides just be creatures. We got Fairy Seer. If you're running as little lands as this deck runs, you get in, you scry, you can set up your next land drop and go from there. Windrider Wizard. This thing has done so much work for me in this deck, it's disgusting. Whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, draw a card, discard a card. Guess what? That's a wizard. Boom. Incredible. This deck he has done so much work for me. This stupid little wizard. I don't know how this wizard got a hold of these like pterodactyl wings or whatever he got on his back, but this dude does work. Daring Saboteur. Never underestimate that unblockable. Never underestimate that loot. That unblockable, key in this deck. Young Constable. Have not been able to, I don't think I've ever cast him in the deck, but he's there just in case. A new card I added, Siren Stormtainer. Again, a wizard. And then it's a protection, but it's flying. It has evasion. Geode Golem did not get cut. Dwarf Infiltrator did not get the cut. I have not cast him yet. Lujun. I think I cast him. He did some work for me. This thing, Night Veil Sprite, has just like the wizard with the pterodactyl wings, has put in so much work for me. The couple games I played. Whenever it attacks Surveil, that is amazing. Hey, what are you doing there? You're not this creature. Kefnet didn't get cut. Geddick. Or Gadwick, the Wizen. I think I drew like 4 cards with him over the couple games I played. He does his thing. Spectral Sailor, drawing cards when you need them in a pinch. Flying Flash. Again, I don't think I've ever cast him. Oh no, I cast him in the one game. I have not cast him. I did bounce 8 creatures, 8 permanents from one of my boys in the Commander crew. The one time I played with them on their stream, and then I felt good, but then I died. I took somebody out, so whatever. Small victories. Thieving Skydiver. I think I've cast this card every time I play the deck. You know what he does. Again, looter. Nothing wrong with that. Getting that little loot. This dumb card. Drawing you cards when you play instants or sorcery. Kill them on sight. Smash them on sight. I mean, this is one of those cards that unless you deal with it ASAP, if it gets... the CMC is 4. You can still draw cards with him immediately because of all the low mana value of instants or sorceries in the deck. But this is one of those smash on sight cards. You got to get rid of it. Again, wizard. And then the unofficial MVP of the deck. This card is dumb. I'll say it again and again. This card is really dumb. It's so good. Ghostly Pilfer. 1 colorless, 1 blue. Spirit Rogue. Whenever it becomes untapped, you can tap 2, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere besides their hand, draw a card. Ridiculous. Discard a card. He can't be blocked. I've gotten so much value off the discard just for filling up the bin and making him unblockable. Make him unblockable, make him an 8/8. Sounds good. Here are the token generators. Murmuring Mystic, making them little birds. Docent of Perfection, Wizards. And Talrand, making them Canadian Rapper tokens. Here's some of the vague, like protection, counter spell, miscellaneous things we got. Reality Shift, Exile them, make it a manifest. Leadership Vacuum, someone taps out for their splash commander. Even if someone just taps out for a value commander like Najila or something with the low CMC that just is great. Make them take an extra turn. Make a cast it again. Draw a card. Devastation Tide. I took it out for I replaced Aether Gale with this, or not Aether Gale, Aether Spouts with this, just because the CMC on all my stuff is usually a lot lower than the CMC of everyone else's stuff, and I run so few creatures that this is really not going to affect me most of the time that bad. Resculpt. You got Stubborn Denial. Again, chances are you're going to have an 8/8 on board. Make it a 1 cast. Arcane Denial. And old Counterspell. We got some 2 miscellaneous spells. We got Lazotep Plating, which kept me in a game a little bit longer, but it did its thing. And then High Tide, just because blue. Here come all the silly spells. Just because you want to fill your bin with as many spells as you can right away. So all these cards are really low CMC. That's why I said you really only need 6 lands to play to make this thing hum. Telling Time. Obsessive Search. Behold the Multiverse. Tolarian Winds. Just dump your whole hand, fill it, get another one. Brainstorm. Impulse. Curate. Oldie but goodie, Latman's Legacy. Scour all possibilities. Think Twice. Frantic Search. Compulsive Research. Opt. Ponder. Strategic Planning. Radical Idea. Manipulate Fate. Again, you're gonna go get 3 lands with this and draw a card. You're gonna dump 3 lands out of your deck and put that in the graveyard. This is a win count almost. Giga Drowse You know, because if you have a couple creatures on the board, you cast it and replicate it. Every time you copy it, Octavia is going to make something on 8/8. So you have the ability to make your whole board almost 8/8s, and then simultaneously tap down whatever kind of things your opponents have. Deliberate, Portent, Sleight of Hand, Thirst for Meaning. Aren't we all thirsting for meaning? This should have been in the other stack, but Aetherize, Peak, Temporal Fissure, Preordain, Treasure Hunt, Git Probe, Thirst for Knowledge, and Serum Visions. Now here are the cards that make things unblockable, so you can slide through and hit them with that young 8/8. Shadow Rift, Open into Wonder, Artful Dodge, Infiltrate, Slip Through Space, Distortion Strike, and this doesn't necessarily give unblockable, but it gives evasion, and it draws you a card, so there you go. So again, that was my update, the latest iteration of this deck. This deck is hilarious. I've gotten so much actual joy from playing this deck that it's silly, but all right guys, let me know what you think.